Did you know that the first talking film in Hollywood was about Yom Kippur? This is the Day of Atonement in Jewish tradition, which is a time for reflection, repentance, and renewal. Although there are many facets to this day, its uniqueness can be found in the awe-inspiring prayer services that are held in shul. In this video, we'll discuss how this film from 1927 revolutionized the film industry, but also made an impact in Jewish circles. By the mid-1920s, there were many devices that were able to synchronize music and even dialogue with moving pictures, but each of these had a major drawback, so none of them were used for feature-length films. The movies that people would watch in a theater were silent, meaning that the music was played live while the dialogue was muted and shown on screen as title cards. However, in 1925, the first synchronized sound system that would be used by a Hollywood studio, called the Vitaphone, was developed by Western Electric and was able to match the sound on a disc with the images on a film reel. This system was adopted by a new studio founded by 4 Jewish immigrants from Poland, the Warner Brothers, would begin the transition from the silent era to the talkies. In 1926, Warner Brothers put out a movie which used this new Vitaphone sound system to synchronize music and sound effects, which showed some promise. And so the following year, they released a movie called The Jazz Singer, starring Al Jolson. Besides the synchronized songs in this movie, there were also 2 moments of dialogue, which to us may not seem like a big deal. You're listening to synced up audio right now. But to the audiences at the time, this was a truly revolutionary moment.
Wait a minute, you ain't heard nothing yet. Wait a minute, I tell you, you ain't heard nothing. You want to hear good?
Imagine the larger-than-life characters who live on the silver screen all of a sudden finding their ability to talk as if they were right here. To me, what is more interesting than strictly the technical aspects of the film is the story itself. A decade before the movie was released, a Jewish writer from New York named Samson Raphaelson went to see a show starring Al Jolson. What captured the attention of the writer was the emotional intensity of Jolson's performance, which reminded him of the prayer services that he would hear in shul. This inspired Raphaelson to write a short story titled The Day of Atonement, the English name for Yom Kippur, which was loosely based on the life of Al Jolson. This was then turned into a play, renamed The Jazz Singer, and then adapted into the groundbreaking film. The story follows a young Jewish man named Jakie who is torn between his traditional upbringing and his dream of becoming a jazz singer on Broadway. As Jakie's career takes off, he faces a dilemma when his estranged father, who is the cantor, the one who leads services in shul, has fallen ill on the eve of Yom Kippur. In the end, despite his desire for the glamour of show business, Jakie decides to lead the Yom Kippur services. The film ends with Jolson, who was known for his jazz performances, singing the liturgy of Kol Nidre, while the Gentiles from Broadway who followed him to the shul remark that it's a jazz singer singing to his God. Besides the technical aspects, the film was also revolutionary in the sense that it brought a relatively accurate representation of Jewish practices and experience to a wider American audience. But the jazz singer also struck a chord within Jewish circles by exploring Jakie's conflict between his religious and secular aspirations, a theme still relevant today. As we celebrate Yom Kippur this year, the jazz singer invites us to reflect on the delicate balance between tradition and modernity by contrasting Jolson's performance to that of the famous cantor Yesela Rosenblatt, who makes a brief cameo in the movie. This film is a masterpiece, since it captures both a bygone world from 100 years ago, but also continues to inspire us to reflect during the high holidays. This film has been remade a couple of times to match the tone of later generations, and the last one was remade over 40 years ago, possibly making it time for another remake. If you haven't seen the original, I will include the link to watch it here on YouTube, and I invite you to share your thoughts about what this film means to you. From our household to yours, have a Gemar Chasima Tova and an inspirational Day of Atonement.